What's up, superfans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate, and No Way Home has arrived. There's a lot to break down, so get a cup of Joe. Let's get it going. This is going to be the full breakdown. Heads up, warning, spoiler warning. If you have not seen the movie, do not continue from here on in. This is your spoiler warning. Please pause this video, hit the subscribe button. Also, we are doing a 50k subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video. Holy crap! What? Yo! No Way Home! Damn! Okay, I knew this movie was gonna be freaking good. Like, I knew it was gonna be good. I didn't know it was gonna be like, holy crap, I just revisited 20 years of storytelling has been all put together to this one singular moment, this one singular move. That this movie has literally just connected. All right, so the movie literally begins at the exact moment of Far From Home, where Mysterio's video has gotten out into the public. Obviously a Daily Bugle, which is kind of, in my opinion, a nemesis of Spider-Man as well. J. Jonah Jameson has always hated Spider-Man up until he needed his help in Spider-Man number 2 against Doc Ock, and clearly he's up to speed on tech because he's in this random room, I guess in his basement, with a green screen in the background. So clearly he's up to times in the Earth 616. And yeah, this is definitely the Spider-Man 616 main Marvel Universe Spider-Man, and I'll talk about more about why that is. And we see Spider-Man going through all of the chaos of the public knowing his true identity of Peter Parker and how it is affecting all of his friends, his family, and the world at the moment really hates Spider-Man. And is no need to worry. The moment the camera showed a hand with the stick, the walking stick that blind people use, that very second, I automatically started to hear the Daredevil theme song in my head. I cannot be the only one. And then we actually see the main man himself, Matt freaking Murdock. And you gotta love how they actually just acknowledge that this is for sure the Matt Murdock that we love and know. With the very brief scene of a block being thrown through the window, he suddenly just grabs it in midair. And Peter's like, whoa, how did you do that? I'm a really good attorney. You're damn right you're a damn good attorney. Absolutely 100% confirmed that Matt Murdock is back in the MCU, and for sure we're gonna see him somewhere down the line. Maybe in a solo film, maybe along the other films. I think he actually has a much bigger role to play with Peter Parker in the near future. Now, with Peter Parker being all lawyered up, with quite possibly the best attorney that's ever existed, besides Jennifer Walters, because Jennifer Walters is also a badass attorney, but we'll see her entire series for her. And you gotta feel bad over Happy. Poor Happy just wanted to be, well, happy with Aunt May, and Aunt May's like, nah, bruh, this was just a fling. And not only due to their association with Peter Parker as Spider-Man, Ned and Michelle Watson, we finally get confirmation that she is a Mary Jane Watson, just of this universe, and in this universe she is Michelle Jones Watson, MJ. That they have been denied from MIT, which was their biggest plan to go to this university together, which is where we get that brief moment that we saw in the trailer of the Halloween decorations, and we see this witch light that looks like Doctor Strange. And it so happens that Peter looks up at these lights and gets the idea to ask one of his most powerful friends for help. It's also fair to note that literally everything that we saw within the trailers was only within the first 30 minutes of the entire movie. The first 30 minutes. That's it. Everything else, nobody knew what the hell was gonna... Okay, we kind of knew a little bit, but because of rumors and theories and I mean, the internet literally almost broke because of this movie. This is when we make the discovery that Doctor Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. The Sorcerer Supreme is now Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. Turns out that during the 5 years of the blip that Doctor Strange was missing, the only other person that is just as knowledgeable, or if not more, capable than Doctor Strange himself is Wong. Because Wong turns out to be his mentor anyway, so it just actually makes sense that he is actually the Sorcerer Supreme. So Strange, no longer being the Sorcerer Supreme now, is just, well, Doctor Strange, but still has the same power. We also get confirmation that there is no more Time Stone, so that means that Aya Agamotto is no longer carrying the Infinity Stones because they have been destroyed. Because he forgot to seal one of the portals, the entire Sanctum Sanctorum is covered in snow. Which makes a lot more sense why he has a shovel in his Funko Pop and why he's wearing the coat and the boots, which by the way you can get at superheroesultimate.com. Now of course Peter, being Peter, botched the spell that Doctor Strange was casting, and Doctor Strange ended up just holding the spell but not fully stopping the spell. In the midst of Peter Parker messing up the spell, we have variants that have been flown through, and that's exactly what they are. They are variants. Thanks to the Loki show, other versions of ourselves, or of villains or heroes, are variants, and for all intents and purposes we have variants that leaked through into the Earth 616, which gave us the return of Dr. Otto Octavius from the Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. This is the same Otto Octavius, as well as the Green Goblin. And oh my god, the fight scene between Dr. Otto Octavius and Spider-Man gave me so much nostalgia, because the best fight scene that comes to mind in the Spider-Man movies is a Dr. Octavius against a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And now we got to see Tom Holland up against our favorite fight scene villain of Dr. Otto Octavius back in the picture. This is one of the best things that they could have possibly ever done. This movie had so many home runs. After the fight with Dr. Otto Octavius and getting the recommendation from the administrator to get his friends accepted into MIT is where we get the entrance for the Green Goblin, which was just a tease until later on in the movie, because we get shifted right back into the Sanctum Sanctorum, where Doctor Strange has holding cells to place all of these variants that are coming through into this universe. And after the great pep talk from Doctor Strange about Scooby-Dooing this we also get to find out that the black suit that we've been seeing everywhere and calling the magic suit, which by the way you can also get at superheroesultimate.com, is not actually a different suit. It's the same exact suit, he just turned it inside out, which is why we get to see those gold accents, and those red and blue things that we saw were actually the wiring inside of his suit. This is where we get the intro of Electro and Sandman, and you gotta love the continuity and the amount of detail that Marvel really spends on the most minuscule of details. If you pay close attention to when Electro first appeared, he was still actually blue, but the reason why he turned into the official yellow is because he was powering up fully, which means to say that in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 he wasn't fully charged up, he wasn't fully powered. Over here we get the more powerful Electro, which I'm totally down for because it gave us the yellow version of Electro. We got Flint Marko returning again. Close attention to detail. When they introduced Flint Marko, he knew Spider-Man and was actually willing to help him because of the events that happened in Spider-Man 3. And shortly after defeating Electro with the help of Sandman, we get a call from Aunt May about the last variant that is missing, the Green Goblin. Again, closely paying attention to detail, if you look at William Dafoe's teeth, you see the actual teeth with the gap in his teeth. And in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, they actually gave him full teeth when he was Norman Osborn, but they took them out and showed his regular teeth with the gap when he was the Green Goblin. And literally the entire time when he was on this earth, when he came through, we only saw him with those teeth. That little tiny minuscule detail, you can go back into the Spider-Man movies from Sam Raimi and pay close attention to when he is Norman Osborn and he smiles, and then look at him when he is the Green Goblin. The entire time, Green Goblin did not have that, and he showed his real teeth with the gap, that sinister smile. Ah, God, by far the best performance I have ever seen William Dafoe as the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin was just absolutely phenomenal the first time around, but he even upped the scale, I feel, in his performance in this movie. Now, of course, Doctor Strange comes in after Peter has brought them all back to their wizard dungeon. Doctor Strange just wants to send them on home, even after making the discovery that they were all killed by Spider-Man, which means whatever happened in that spell didn't only just bring them variants in from another universe, but it also brought them in from a different point in time in that universe as well. Time obviously works a bit differently when you're dealing with the multiverse, as we've seen in the TVA. This is when we get that kick-ass scene with Doctor Strange against Spider-Man, and Spider-Man actually kicked his ass using geometry. Stay in school, boys and girls. Now, I've got to admit, Aunt May is literally the entire conscience and the moral code to Peter Parker. And this is more than anything a Peter Parker storyline. And then it's Spider-Man. It really dives into the humanity part of things, and the reason why so many of us resonate so much with the character of Peter Parker, of Spider-Man, and all the complexities in being Spider-Man. And then we get the one pivotal moment in the entire film that literally made this entire trilogy an origin story for our Tom Holland Peter Parker Spider-Man. Yes, the entire trilogy, all three movies, are basically an origin story. All the things he went through, all the things he learned, all the villains that he's fought, all the people that he's met, being an Avenger, all these things that he has been through are now part of Peter Parker Spider-Man's, Tom Holland's origin story. As we all know, being Spider-Man fans, we all know that the true moment when Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man and the person that he's meant to be is the very moment that he hears the quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." The second Aunt May began to say that quote, I immediately started to basically tear up. I mean, this scene, and there's a few in this movie that made me break. Like, it broke me. And I started tearing because I had a feeling of where they were going with this. And it turns out that this Aunt May is Tom Holland's Uncle Ben. The moment that shifts his entire way of thinking, that builds the core of Peter Parker Spider-Man. Now, not only does this movie bring you into severe nostalgia and then happiness and then sadness and then give you a little bit of humor and then just bring you right back into tears, right after these tears, they had the most amazing way of bringing us back into an excited moment where we get the biggest reveal of, holy crap, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man coming back when Ned opened up a portal. This is the, I mean, if you guys have seen the movie already, just go on any social media and just look for No Way Home audience reactions, and you will see how many theaters lost it the moment Andrew Garfield popped in through that portal, and then lost it even more when the GOAT, the freaking GOAT of all Spider-Man, popped on the screen. The first time this man, Tobey Maguire, popped on screen as Spider-Man was 20 years ago, and the last time he suited up was around 15 years ago. And here we have him back as the older, wiser, more experienced Spider-Man. Tobey did such a freaking amazing job at being the older, wiser Spider-Man. His tone, the way he spoke, almost like Peter B. Parker, except not without depression, just more humbled and more grown. And Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man was rock solid. I honestly believe that this is one of his best performances I have ever seen Andrew Garfield ever as a Spider-Man. After all the theories, after all the rumors, after all the different little leaks and the blue screen and all that stuff, and then coming to fruition, The success of this movie is all based on how Marvel and Sony listened to what the fans really wanted to see, and they delivered 10 times fold. Even into the point where they actually did the meme! They did the freaking meme in the lab scene! Now besides that, we got the GOAT, and we got the Amazing Spider-Man returning, and we got all three on-screen, very teary freaking moment when they all go through the intervention and they all state about the quote about with great power comes great responsibility. Tearful damn moment. And the second time around hit it just as hard because you're expecting it, but then you see it on screen. This is the type of movie you need to see more than one time, for the reason that the first time you're just in shock and going through all of the emotions about what is literally in front of you. And the second time, since you know what's happening in front of you, you are literally just soaking it all in now. And I feel like the second time hit harder. And there's so many nods of nostalgia. Like William Dafoe saying, I'm something of a scientist myself, which is a direct correlation to the first time Peter Parker and William Dafoe's Green Goblin met in Spider-Man 1. And Dr. Otto Octavius meeting once again with Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker Spider-Man. And he asks how he's doing. And he says, trying to do better. Is a direct connection to the first time they ever met. And then the meeting of Andrew Garfield and Jamie Foxx's Electro. After Electro has been cured. And he removes his mask and shows him who he is. And then Electro says, because you helped out people and you're from Queens, I just figured in some part of the universe there would be a black Spider-Man, which is a direct connection also to Miles Morales. God, can they connect anything more in this movie? I swear, the next probably 2 times that I watch it, I'm still going to catch even more things. And then I feel like one of the biggest closure moments for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and the fact that he was able to finally move on, or at least the point where he can actually move on, is the part of him saving MJ instead of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. When Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, if you notice, he didn't use the web this time. He literally just dodged his whole body to grab MJ instead of using the web in order to save her. And that moment where he... when you see Andrew Garfield's reaction to saving MJ, and MJ asks him, are you okay? Even now, just thinking about it, that was one of the bigger of the closing moments that just broke everyone in the theater, because I could hear everyone sniffling. This movie literally connected 20 years worth of storytelling, gave the fans what they wanted to see, and then gave them even more of what we are going to see in the future. And it's also fair to point out, after Aunt May cleans up the suit and they keep going with Peter's plan to cure all of the villains, and they cure Otto Octavius, and when Otto Octavius returns the nanotechnology to Peter Parker, Parker's suit actually becomes the same symbol as the superior Spider-Man, which is kind of foreshadowing that yes, he is the superior Spider-Man as the other Spider-Man and Aunt May. And it's an ongoing theme throughout the whole movie. If you notice that they always say this is what we do, which led up to the point of this is what he does. He makes the necessary sacrifice to protect the ones he loves. And when Doctor Strange finished that spell and we get the actual this right here, we finally get the most accurate, the exact moment, the Amazing Spider-Man, like Amazing Fantasy number 15, Amazing Spider-Man number 1. We get the most accurate portrayal, and literally, after all these 3 movies, literally at the moment that we get a broke Peter Parker, finally, after all these years, he is completely alone. He's broke. He has no friends. He has no Aunt May. He has nobody. He has no happy. He has nothing. Literally nothing. This is the moment that they just started to tell us the story of Spider-Man. From the iconic Stan Lee vision of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. This is that moment. And although we only saw this suit for 10 seconds, the amount of impact and importance of this scene of him using just regular tech to detect crimes in New York City and having to figure out a new way to suit up and making his own suit. He made his suit. Every other suit that he's ever had has been made for him from Tony Stark or Stark Industries. And this is no longer the case. This is the first suit that he has made, besides the one that we saw in Homecoming, which wasn't really a suit. It was just a bunch of stuff put together with goggles. He literally, for the first time ever, made a complete suit by himself. Whew. There you have it. Spider-Man No Way Home. There's so much more that I will be talking about with the whole crew. So keep a lookout for that, because I will be having a whole No Way Home discussion on the round table of nerds. And we will be discussing about the future of where this is going to lead. There's going to be another video also dedicated to that end credit scene and the importance of what that end credit scene actually means, because there's a huge importance to this end credit, and it is literally going to be the future of not only what's going to happen in future movies to Spider-Man, but also what's going to happen in a gigantic event scale in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We are doing a 50k subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video. Alright, superfans, and if you want to get some cool collectibles or apparel, I placed all the links in the description below. Until next, superfans, this is Fit Nerd. Over and out.